I used to live in Singapore, and my business partner, Victoria, we both used to live in Singapore, and we met at work, and we both were very passionate about sustainability, good food, and trying to, stop our colleagues using single-use plastics as much as we can. And it's really important to, well, at least to me, it's really important to make sure that if there is something I can do to make a change, make a difference, I want to do it. And it drives me nuts when people say, oh, I'm just one person. I can't, it's not going to make an impact. No, if we all would have adapted the same mindset, we would have been, making way more progress. But anyways, Victoria and I, we kind of bonded over our similar beliefs, and she's also from Belarus. And at that time, Scoop Wholefoods opened up in Singapore. They opened their first retail store there.
Coming in from
Australia. The brand is Australian. Yes, they've been around over a decade. There is 10 stores in Australia, 7 now in Singapore, 2 in the UK, and we're the first one here in Dubai.
So it's like a franchise.
Yes, that's right. Okay. So when I probably should have started with that.
No, it's okay.
So when they opened up Scoop, we just fell in love with the brand. Such a beautiful produce, no GMO, no pesticides, no artificial color and flavor in the store. It's a bulk concept, so there is no single-use plastics in the store. And just genuine, really great products, the farmers, suppliers that we could really trust. And yeah, so we absolutely loved it. We used to scoop all the time. But then when COVID hit, we both ended up living in Singapore. I moved with my family to Dubai, and Victoria ended up in Berlin until probably about a year and a half ago. We got on a call and Victoria said, well, what do you miss about Singapore? I said, Singapore, what I miss about Singapore, actually Scoop Wholefoods is one of the things I really miss the most, because I've seen some of my friends, over the time, but there isn't a Scoop in Dubai. I've spent a year and a half looking for something remotely similar here, but I wasn't able to find it. And then Victoria said, well, what about Dubai? What do you miss in Dubai? Or how do you find Dubai? And I said, well, Dubai is incredible. I love this place. I'm so happy that we moved, but there is no Scoop here. So I really miss Scoop. And then she goes, I've emailed them a while ago, and actually they franchise. And I kind of looked at her and I went, they franchise? She goes, do you think we should open one? I was like, absolutely, we are opening one. Let's do it. And that conversation took place, probably about a year and a half ago now. So, and then, a lot of work happened in between, and I was basically trying to figure it out. Now, my background is F&B, and I've done various things during my career, but it's still for the first time I was doing something in UAE, So, of course, within that process, there is lots of learnings, lots of things don't go to plan. And there is lots of moments of, oh God, how are we going to figure it out? You have massive setbacks. And during that time, that's how I actually found Mind Valley. Because I really felt emotionally depleted just because there was so much happening all at once. And many things were very much out of our control. And for me, that was also very hard to not be able to control. Yes. And, and also, as I mentioned before, growing up in Eastern Europe, there is this whole segment of your parents make lots of decisions for you, but also there is this culture around you have to come first, you have to achieve. Like if it's not a gold medal, it doesn't count. So you kind of get conditioned into that, sense of control because you want to control your environment. And then I found myself in a place where I wasn't able to control anything, and the way or coping mechanism I found was through Mind Valley and meditation and some of the hypnosis, which was extremely helpful.
So interesting what you're saying. Because you could have given up, right? You could have thrown in the towel and say like, but then that maybe the other mentality that you got may have stopped you. I don't know. And in addition to the tools you discovered.
For sure. Or like resilience, I think definitely, a sprinkle of that helped along the way, for sure.
And like a new dimension, you mentioned what resilience you built before, right? Like seeing things torn down again after being built with so much dedication and care.
Constant change, right? Yeah. So for sure, it's interesting sometimes, I guess we all find ourselves in the situations where you think, why is this happening to me? That's like the worst day. Like, you know, when we go through the motion of being extremely upset and not able to see the reason why it's really happening, you know, until we really zoom out, to have that maturity of zooming out, or learned how to zoom out, you know, easier said than done. But looking back on our lives, we go, oh, I'm so glad that happened. Learned a lot there. Okay, now I understand why that situation was handy at the time.
Yeah, and resilience for me also includes an aspect of starting to trust that, right? That it happens.
Absolutely.
We are, like, I like to use the image of the storm, right? Yes, the storm is coming, but I'm standing strong.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to get through it.
On, almost.
That's right.
And, yeah.